How we doing?
There, how's that?
There you go.
Yeah, that's
Much
good.
better.
Ooh. Boop,
Okay,
boop, boop, boop,
Captain,
boop, boop,
you know the premise of the game,
boop,
right?
boop, boop, boop. Yeah.
Are you baby
We work
girl?
for a fucked up Amazon.
Yeah, we basically work for Space Jeff Bezos.
Space Daddy
Hates
Bezos.
us.
We can't buy 3 flashlights. Too expensive.
It is sad.
We can't buy 3?
No, it's too expensive.
How much? Oh, because we start with 60, right?
I'll buy 2 though.
Oh,
Captain,
okay.
you look like such
Huh?
a little wage laborer working on your computer like this.
No.
Oh, I'm not on the computer. I'm reading a clipboard.
Oh, that was Elias. Oh. Yeah, just, left click to scan for scrap. It tells you which button. I think it's E to pick it up, right? Elias?
What?
If Biggie
Oh,
Bezos owned the SCP Foundation. Yeah, this is basically SCP Foundation X Phasmo.
No, this is Amazon. We're working for Amazon right now. That's how Amazon works, right?
What, Amazon in the year 20?
No, as in like modern day Amazon. No, they send people
They
off into
currently do this.
Yeah.
That's why we're wearing black and orange like this, guys.
We are delivering the
literally
parcels
modern.
to you.
What you don't understand is that this is where your Amazon packages come from. The hard labor of us hoes out here.
So many Amazon workers will die over Christmas. But it's worth it.
Alright. Are you feeling comfortable, Captain?
Yeah.
Okay. We're on experimentation, so we're just gonna start. We're gonna start on the first one. We need 130 scrap. Isn't Amazon blue and gold? Yeah. I just made up the orange and black thing. I'm not even colorblind.
Oh my gosh, there's a camera that shows us. Hello.
Yeah, so when you want to go onto cams, you can type help and it'll tell you all the things. But you can do, it's like other, and then switch, oops.
Hey.
And now
hey,
it's tracking.
Hey.
Are you enjoying your dance?
I'm a sex worker.
AJ says no, that's Walmart. Okay, right. That family is even worse. Aren't they like Republican? I like how that's the worst thing I can think of. Okay, so we gotta go to this.
Yeah, Walmart's horrendous.
This is where the flashlights come out of.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't put gloves on. I'm sorry, guys.
What the fuck?
Wait, are we talking about shitty corporations? I don't think there's a corporation that exists that is not shitty. Okay, Captain, come grab this one.
You can grab this torch.
Right there.
Yummy.
Yeah. Okay, Elias, do you want to try and be on cams?
Okay.
Ew.
Want to try it?
I'll try. I've never done it before, but I'll try.
Because we never, so far, we've only played duos, so we, I had to run.
He ran like he had a rod up his ass.
He does.
Hey, who said that? I'll point the finger at you. And then do a
Put
little
your
cheeky
finger
dance.
near me.
Goodbye.
Okay, let's go. God damn it, I was playing Minecraft and I got used to this fucking crouch.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
That's annoying. I know. 2 Minecrafters play a game where control and shift aren't backwards.
I don't even use the defaults. I use R and F.
It's like how there are a million red and gold fast food places.
F for Frouch.
So this one is a good one. You see it? So the best way to do it is just bring it like right outside the door.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can carry them all back, or Elias could even come get them.
Oh, I could see. Oh, okay. If you, I'm looking at your captain. If you keep going, you're going up the stairs.
Is it?
I see like a red dot, so I'm guessing that's like an enemy.
Wait, up?
Yeah, those are bad guys.
Yeah, where the room that you're both in right now, there's a monster in there somewhere. Oh, It's right.
Oh God!
Yeah.
No,
It's.
I'm crouching instead of running. Okay,
should've
we're
got-
not going. We're not going
Yeah,
in there.
don't
We'll
see
go
We
it.
up.
should have got us. We should have got a shovel.
Oh. It's
How much
okay.
are
I'll
those?
find a stop sign.
Or a stop sign.
I'll tell them
yeah.
to stop.
Oh, here's an engine.
And if they don't listen, I'll yell at them about consent.
Thank you for the clip, Scoot. Wait. What is
I
this?
have this bin. Was what? Oh, the thing.
I'm
holding?
sorry. Yeah, it's an engine, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, if
It
you
looks-
right click,
It looks like a traffic light.
if you right click, you can scan, and then it'll show you where stuff is. Nelly? No.
Ooh.
Sorry. I might, Captain. You're on your own for a second. I've
What?
got a child to deal with.
Okay.
One moment, please. No.
Keep me safe, Elias.
I'm watching you, Captain.
Okay.
Nelly?
The eagle has eyes.
I'd hope so.
I am a blind eagle.
Sorry, chat. She is.
Oh, it's computer.
I
time.
love Nelly so much, but she just keeps going in my lap. She's like trying to jump up and being a horrible person.
Yeah, you're safe still, Captain. You can go through that door. There should be something in the room that you're about to go in the
Okay,
back
she's
corner.
back.
In the back corner?
Yeah, if you can go
Ah.
through the door, there's a door to your left there. Go through it.
Okay. That one's locked. This...
Oh, they both locked.
Oh my God!
No, this first one is.
There's a creature!
Uh-oh.
Oh no! It got
Uh-oh.
me!
Oh. Uh-oh.
It said
Oh, yeah.
new
Uh.
it said new creature data, and then everything went
I'll
dark.
still go
It's
in here.
in here.
I'm gonna go in here.
I know.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
there should
man.
be something in the back, at the back left. There you go.
Oh. Okay.
Oh well.
Oh.
Increase. Oh,
Are you in trouble, Captain?
I'm
No, that-
fine.
Captain's good.
Yeah. Where did the
Just watching
monster
from the
get
cams.
I don't see the monster on the map, so you're good.
You? Yummy. Dude, oh,
Don't you dare, Captain. I swear to God.
what?
Do not.
What?
No. Lay down.
Okay.
I like when we
Should I
play
come
this
back?
game
Should I
more
keep
than
going?
anything else. He's not even looking at the cams anymore. He's
What the
going in.
fuck?
I'm gonna help out with.
Oh, what is
collecting the
that?
stuff.
What is
Yeah, bring the
that?
stuff in. We have 91 outside the door, so like
There was
we
a
don't
flying
need-
thing.
we don't need to risk it.
I don't know if I like that. Ew, what is that?
Wait, Cap, a flying thing inside or outside?
Outside.
Those are safe. Those are nice guys.
Okay.
Oh,
What?
wait, did you survive that?
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck? I
was
heard
testing.
that
Wait, you did?
through the stream. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Trying to be slick with it.
I was thinking if I could mute to you guys and not to stream. AJ was like, wait, why do I hear Cap twice? It's because AJ has both of our streams open, Cap.
What put this?
Wait, Luna, don't get in vans with van people. Get out of the
This on
van.
the ground.
I threw it on the ground.
So do I just put it on the floor?
Yeah, in the ship.
Okay.
I should try and get your dead body though, right?
Hi, Ray.
I
Oh
don't know.
yeah,
I
because
think it was
you'll
one
get
of
you'll get
those-
money. I think.
I think it was one of
Or
those
no,
little
not-
guys with the eyes,
Maybe?
the cockroach things, the legs and the red eyes.
Ew, those guys are creepy.
But it said new creature. I guess every creature is new because this is a new save.
Did you get them all, or we have more?
That was all of it.
Okay.
But we could go back in to get Scarlet's dead corpse.
Let's do it. We got how many more days? 2 more days to fill our quota? We're fine.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Apparatus
it is
collected.
getting dark,
Ooh,
and
80.
more monsters come out at night. Apparently.
Mm.
We should be good.
Yeah, we'll just try to be quick.
Wait, you're gonna go get more scrap? Don't
No,
No,
we're
we're
gonna
gonna
get your
get-
body.
We're gonna get
Oh.
your body.
Oh, do not risk it all for the body on the
We're
first
getting
day.
the body.
It's beneficial to get the body.
It's worth $5. It's not even worth a lot of money.
I don't
it's
have a
totally
fucking. Oh,
worth
never mind. There's an orb. There's a the gloopy boy.
Go out the door.
is that?
Leave. Both of you leave.
But wait. I can. Oh.
No, you cannot jump over it.
I made it.
All right, let's just.
My
go.
flashlight dead or something? What's happening?
Yeah, you can recharge it in the ship.
Ah.
I'll show you.
It's probably because I was flashing it on and off like a dingus.
Ray goes, do not risk it all for the body on the first day is sound advice for relationships. I concur.
There you go.
I also said it, so of course it's sound
Ah.
advice.
Oh, that does not seem safe.
Yeah, wait. You didn't leave Captain on the... Okay. I had
No.
a panic attack. I thought Captain was on the deck and you were just launching into orbit.
The laziest employee. Injuries?
Ooh,
I had
see.
0 injuries, you liar.
Once we get some money...
Oh god.
wait, it says 0. Oh, you guys didn't get my body.
Nope.
No.
I don't have a flashlight now either.
Nope. How
Oh,
much money do we have? 8. Yeah.
We don't have enough.
sexy.
Unless
Okay.
we donate this stuff here to get
What do you-
more money.
But then we... Wait, how much is this?
This is 91.
Nah, we could get something worth 40.
I mean, this apparatus. It's not saying anything for this price. So we might have it because it's not it's like question marks
Let's
for
go
the.
see if there's something like in the front part of the majig.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Hang on, let me.
Captain's got a flashlight. Captain can go in.
Oh wait, maybe we
Yeah.
should change the moons because it's flooded right now.
Oh.
Which means I mean, if we can avoid sinking into the ground, we could do it.
Oh, it's flooded?
Yeah.
Oh, we kind of might as well sell it then. And then just come back for the next day if we need to.
I mean, I don't think it skips a day though if we go to the.
Yeah, let's go sell. Oh, like it would still be flooded? Let's go sell it and see if we made quota.
Okay.
Cap,
Thanks,
you get
Ray.
to meet the tentacles.
Let's go.
You wanna do
Elias,
the honors,
I'm
Captain?
literally, I'm drenched in sweat.
Nice.
You wanna pull the stick?
Yeah, pull the stick, Captain.
Balls to the
Ooh.
wall. One of my older white male coworkers uses the phrase "balls to the wall," and I was like, you probably shouldn't say that at work. And he was like, no, because it's from like using a crank drive thingy like this, and you put the ball to the wall
Pull my finger.
to go fast. No. Not fall for that. If you don't make quota, Bezos juices you. Yes, Bezos does juice the fuck out of
Jesus
you.
sticks his little bald head out of this little gap here and screams at you.
Come on. Okay, back away from the window. How far can the tentacles reach? That would be something that would be good to test in a different save.
The hand on the hip while pointing. So sassy.
Wait, Spider-Man meme. Wait, Spider-Man meme. Guys. Point at me, Captain.
Mexican standoff.
Wait, did anyone read how much we got?
Yeah, 91.
Let's go.
It was only 91?
Yeah.
So that light bulb was worth nothing?
I
The
guess
fuck was
so.
the point of that?
Well, we do have 99 now, so we can get more.
Yeah, like get 2 more
stuff.
flashlights.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Is that, oh, that doesn't take it out of the quota. Okay, that's good.
Oh, is the light just all profit? Is that why those are good?
I
It
guess
doesn't
so.
count towards the quota, but you make cash from it? That's fucking dope.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, wait,
Ice cream
what?
man! Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, no.
What the fuck?
Wait, why is the door open?
What's happening here?
Oh, no.
What? What?
That was the flashlights. It landed on that planet. Oh, god damn it, dude. Oh my fucking god. Wait, no, we barely have. Oh my fuck. I can get one more.
Get one more. It's worth it. We'll make it up. We'll make it up. It'll be fine. Wait, what does juicing mean? Juicing means to squeeze a fruit so that the juices come out.
Hang on, don't land yet.
Let me... Settings.
What did it say? Oh.
There we go. I got it, guys. I'm sorry. What is that?
Okay. Now we can
Sticky
land.
note.
What does it say?
You're in deep access. Or you're in deep access file of Sigurd. I didn't see the period at first.
Nice.
Nice, dude. Oh,
we
that's
haven't
freaky.
discovered that yet.
Whee!
Wait, did you pick a different planet, Elias?
Yeah, because the first one is flooded still, so.
Oh. This is the one where the fucking shit is far as fuck away, isn't it?
I think so.
Oh wait, this way?
Where's the thing
Yeah, it's
land,
this
though?
way. It's over
I
here.
know. But where does the rocket land?
Over here, I'm pretty sure. Didn't it land right here last time?
Oh yeah, you might be right. Yeah. Where's that?
Come on,
ice cream
rocket
truck?
ship.
Oh.
Oh, there it is.
It's up
Where?
there. Up on the hill.
I'm stuck.
Ooh,
Step
pumpkins!
There you go.
Wait, I want a flashlight. Okay.
I guess I'll stay in the ship and you two.
He's so long suffering. No, Luna. No. I'm gonna time you out. Where'd you go, Captain?
Oh, I was
We
dancing
should-
on a pumpkin.
Go back to where the stuff landed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Come with me.
And you'll be in
In a world of pure imagination. Okay, somewhere the ladder is over here. There, this way. Those are fine. They're not mad.
I got the new
But
creature
this is
data
the
thing and I
one-
was worried.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's quite frightening. This is the one where there's these dogs. Oh, bad
Ooh,
directions.
Look at that.
Found
Smells
journal
here.
Entry smells.
There's a tape
Is
on the
this
ground.
poop? Oh. Oh, a creature log? Okay, let's go. That hasn't happened before, Elias.
That might be new.
It was like
Right here,
it was
Cap.
like a cassette tape on the ground.
Yeah, I don't think we've found... I know that you can find the creature logs, and then they tell you, like, how to de-aggro them. Found fecal matter, yeah. Hell yeah,
Makes
brother.
sense.
If there's one thing I'm good at in games, it's finding poop. Okay, I found an egg beater. Hopefully I can
God.
hit some
How did we make
motherfuckers
it to
with
the
this.
back rooms?
You never leave the back rooms.
Oh my gosh, we can make cookies.
Cooking up dope in
Is
a
there
crock
something
pot.
in that room if you go back? In that main room, this is something to your...
This
Wait,
room?
go back. No. In the... where the exit is. Is there something on the wall?
a
There's
button.
like,
Or no, not a
yeah,
button.
there's
Oh,
like
there's a button, okay.
It's like a
a nozzle.
Something.
Something. Why? What do you see?
No, I'm just wondering.
Sweet. Warped Creeper said, "Why is this company lethal? Where's OSHA?" This is Jeff Bezos' space
OSHA?
crap company.
Who's that?
They don't give a fuck about us. OSHA never met her.
Currently, there's 15 objects outside the ship, totaling to an approximate value of 1,300.
Which is like
outside
outside?
the ship?
Yeah, so I'm guessing inside the facility that you're in
How
right
did
now.
you see that?
Through the computer.
Man's a wizard.
You're a wizard.
I'm a wizard, Harry.
It just. Oh, that's is that a mine?
What?
There's a mine somewhere.
Oh, the
Just
beacon?
look for red beepy lights. Yeah.
I don't see anything. It's got to be nearby, though.
It might be upstairs. This way. Yeah, it's probably up here.
Which way?
If you go up the stairs and into this door that I'm in.
Oh.
Elias, chat wants you to say hi, baby girl.
Wait, why?
Oh, here it is, Captain. That's a
Oh,
mine.
yeah.
Don't step on it.
Hubcap.
They want me to say hi, baby girl.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hi, baby girl.
Oh, this thing.
Yeah, you've seen this in the videos.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
careful,
You go
please.
first. Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, Elias, we've got mist kind of blocking us.
It's foggy as hell.
I'm gonna go
No,
back.
I am not baby girl, Cupid.
Hear something. I'm coming back.
Oh wait, you do? Come back, Cap. We'll close
I
this door.
will not asphyxiate you, AJ.
Okay, let's go this way.
I am not baby girl kitten, god damn it.
Oh,
There's a
slime.
monster right through that door.
Yeah, it's a slime. If you could close that door.
There's
Here,
also a
I'll-
turret to your right. Yeah.
Oh, I
What?
see it. There's turrets. Can you close this door,
Oh.
Elias?
I don't know how.
It's.
What is
Hang
it?
on. I'm looking for a number.
I can see that it's I think it's
pretty close to you, so
I2.
careful.
I2, please.
I don't know how to.
Just type in I2
That's what I did. Nothing
or
happened.
close I2.
Oh, he coming.
Nope.
He's a lot. He coming. This is in the read the instruction manual. It should tell you how to close it.
Switch, ping, scan.
turret.
Hang on, let me read the. There's a manual.
Captain.
I wasn't paying attention.
Captain, did you walk on the mine? It's just me now.
I backed
no.
up and I didn't think it was that close to me, but it was actually very close to
Oh.
me.
Wait, is there a monster by me? I just heard a weird noise.
I closed C7.
Okay, I hear the doors closing,
There's
but
something.
I think I have enough
Or a Rubik's
stuff.
Cube. And a phone, yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay,
Okay, you can
should
come
I
back
just
out
leave?
now. Yeah, you can come back out now.
I found a fire exit.
Yeah, go through
The
that.
only problem is these are where the boys with the mouths are.
Yours should be good.
Not in a good way.
The boys with the
Wait.
mouths.
What?
Be quiet.
Okay, I'm crouching.
Oh yeah, the boys are out.
Oh shit.
Oh god,
Oh
where are
shit.
they?
You gotta-
That's
you gotta
scary.
They're
There's a-
blind and
there's
they're
a
only
doggy.
detectable by sound, so it's
There's
right next to the ship.
Yeah.
Oh great. Which, like by the back door?
Yeah, it's just
It's
wandering
big.
around.
Wait, Luna wants to know if they move up because you're dead, Cap. the
Absolutely not. Oh my god,
hierarchy.
it's clipping through the spooky.
Okay. All I see is shadows.
You say it's
Oh
only
my God.
sound?
Yeah, so you gotta crouch walk.
Wild.
I think I'm going the right way.
You
What-
should
what?
be fine to come back as long as you crouch.
I heard a rock. I'm crouch walking.
Keep crouch walking. You should be good.
Am I going the right
I don't
direction?
see it anymore.
I don't know. I don't think you. No, I think you are. Yeah, keep going that way.
This way?
Yeah, not up the hill. Go down the hill.
Oh, I see the ship. I'm coming.
I think the monster's gone, but yeah.
I'm
still
not
keep-
taking any chances. Remember when Elias and I were playing this? Oh no. I hear it.
I don't see it.
It's behind me.
No.
You're crazy.
Come on.
Don't make any No, Elias, no. You're gonna make noise and it's gonna come to us. Where's the door?
It's the other
You're
way.
on the opposite side.
Okay. Okay.
You wanna drop the stuff that you got? See how much you got?
Yeah.
The whisk.
Wait.
A whisk, nice. Rubik's Cube, nice. And a phone.
Ooh.
105.
Nice.
An
I think
egg
you might.
beater.
You
Can
got
our
I
it,
think
I
we
think.
got it. Yeah, we
Yeah, we
got it.
did.
We got it. And we can pay Captain's death tax. I don't have a taser,
Let's
AJ.
go.
I have nothing to fight back with, you
I,
guys.
what? I'm gonna get a shovel and kill you both, I swear to God.
Why? No, Nelly.
Because you're both slacking.
What do you
fuck?
mean? I just fucking brought back a hundo
Says
by
the person who
myself.
couldn't close a door.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's time. This shit is coming off.
Why are there so many bunk beds when we all just cuddle?
I don't know, yeah, that's a
Sorry,
good
guys.
question.
The cosplay made it
Really?
30 minutes. That's how far I went.
Okay, now we go to...
And then we do that. And then we do...
Company?
Oh,
I'm cleaning up the ship.
stays him in the guards. Yeah.
Oh!
Little strip tease for you, chat.
I just found out something.
What did
Oh,
you find?
my flashlight.
So when we sell stuff, and you know when we when we sell stuff, it's like not to the exact price that we found the stuff at.
Yeah.
Well, on the screen now, it's saying the company is buying at 77%. So is it like 77% of
Oh. No,
the?
no.
Oh!
Oh, Grace.
What are you looking at? Like, what are you doing on the computer?
What are we talking about?
Guys, I was really excited to play this game, but the entire time, the second I make a loud noise, Nelly thinks that something's wrong with mommy and tries to jump on me. And
Don't
I'm
look
like,
at
it's
the-
Nelly, it's fine.
Don't look at the history, Captain. Don't look at the history on the
What, why?
computer.
Oh wait, what about the tape? Don't sell the tape.
What tape?
Did I not bring it back?
No, I think that's just like it's like information that's stored in our bestiaries.
Oh.
Alright, let's go. Sell this shit.
Tentacle Daddy, I brought you a toy. What if he solves the Rubik's Cube?
Hey kid, you piece of shit.
Give me my scrap.
Give
Show
me
us, Nelly.
my
I
money.
can't, you guys. If I
Hello, Daddy. Oh, I hear him.
Oh! Okay, how much was that?
80
That's not bad.
invaluable to the company. Did you hear that? Daddy
Let's
Bezos
go.
likes us.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so did we meet the quota?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, we did.
We're above.
Nice.
Okay, so wait. So going down to
hey,
this
hey.
thing doesn't count towards your days.
Nope.
That's
Now we have
nice.
100. So let's take off first.
Let's leave.
And I kept my flashlight this whole time.
Nice.
We can order Captain. Captain has one, right? No, Captain
No.
died. We need 2 more.
We need a shovel, really. How much
Okay.
is
Gobble.
Shovel's
shovel.
20.
shovel's 30?
Yeah, overtime bonus. Let's go.
Oh, nice. We got 123.
New profit quota 238. They just double that shit on us.
Oof.
You guys, this is exactly how jobs work. When you do a good job, they give you more work. It's fucking bullshit.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I hate billionaires.
They expect me to do more? No.
This is what we should do with all the billionaires. Once Elon Musk figures out his little spaceships, we put them all on a spaceship and we're like, look, you guys are gonna explore the galaxy and you're never coming back. Have a good time. 15-pound homophobe.
Oh, I died
She
and
is.
I lost my clipboard.
Oh, I thought we would get it back at least. Hey, look, my helmet's pretty close to this helmet.
I want to stick this to your forehead.
Wait,
You do it.
wait, come on. I did a pretty good job. Look at that. With duct tape and Tupperware from my kitchen.
Ooh,
Not bad.
like a pattern on.
Are you reading the signs left to us by Daddy Bezos
Yeah.
and the gods? I think. Oh, we're going. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. All right, where is this fucking? I didn't see anything that way, so I think it's behind us.
Assurance.
Can you get run over by the ship? That'd be pretty funny. Yeah, I think it's this way because I didn't see anything. Yeah, there's stuff. This way. Oh, we ordered stuff.
When you
we
forget you
quote
ordered
this?
things.
Yep. Me always. Me ordering this cosplay when it arrived today. I was like, hell yeah. That's like a little surprise.
Take the rock.
What else did I order on Amazon this week? Nail glitter.
Ooh, look at it spin. What a little ballerina.
One's on this side. Let's go, boys.
Do you want the who wants the shovel?
I'll take it. No, you take it.
Okay.
It should be this way. Yeah. You just made the funniest noise.
That was me sliding on my ass.
Your ass okay?
Yeah. My ass is
His
taking a
ass is
beating over the
actually full
years.
of eggs, which was an
What?
earlier conversation.
Okay. Oh, I see something.
I just got, you guys.
Why, what happened?
Someone just said, I saw Up Baby in your thumbnail. And I was
Oh
like,
my
wait, what's
gosh.
Up Baby?
Oh my god.
Ooh,
I'm a
screw.
fucking idiot.
Big bolt. It's me. Big bolt.
Anything else in here? We got it all. We got it all. We got it all.
Ooh, cookie mold.
No, dude, we literally could bake a cake.
Let's do it. What kind of cake should we bake?
I was gonna say egg, but that's. I feel like they always have eggs in
No.
them.
We got plenty of eggs.
I think that's literally a requirement. Unless you're allergic to eggs, then I think it becomes applesauce.
We can't use the eggs inside of you, Elias. Those are our children. Those are people in there.
That's
What's
the
the
wrong
point?
brand.
This goes somewhere if we could turn off the. I just don't know where the. We have to find a red turny
There's a-
boy.
There's a ton. I might be able to find it.
Yeah, look for one up there. Oh my god, my shadow just scared the fuck out of me. Okay, close the door. And then this way? Oh yeah, there's more.
There you go, I
What?
found it.
You found the steam thing? Oh, turret in this room. There's nothing else in there. Don't go in there.
I don't like that it locked onto me over in this doorway. Wait.
Yeah. Here's another one of those things.
No,
not
this is
full
the
valve.
same one.
Oh. Carrot cake, AJ says. Wait, you're the AJ, you're the eggs. You're already born though. You can't be an egg still.
Egg.
Oh, promising room? Oh, this is like the mining depot area. You should be able to get up. Oh. This way maybe. Oh yeah, here's the stairs. Sometimes there's an engine or something down here. Nope.
Oh, a teapot. On like
Where'd
Hey!
Oh,
Where
I
did
found
you
another
go?
egg beater. I found an egg beater for our cake.
Another one.
Is there anything up here? And major key. Is that a boomer thing at this point? That's so old.
Wait, where'd my kettle go?
Did you not pick him up?
Thought I did. It's not on the stairs
Oh
anymore.
god, you scared me.
What the fuck?
Oh, here
know.
it is.
My kettle?
Yeah, I got one.
Can I
Ooh,
take
a
this
big
stool
bowl.
with me?
No, I
don't
wish.
like to say something.
It's literally, what is this shit? It's like trying to get us to be housewives. This is saying go home and bake something
Oh,
for
a
your
hairbrush.
husband.
Go
then-
bake,
Oh,
wife.
where? Go
I
bake,
found-
bitch.
I found one of the blobs.
Okay. I'm gonna go back with what I have and start taking things. I think it's... Oh, I hear something. Wait, I heard like a rattly noise. Where did we come from, Cap?
You go?
Oh, there's a bolt. There's a bolt. Can you
Bolt?
get that?
Bolt. Oh,
Okay.
oh, there it is.
What?
Found my teapot.
Oh, God. I thought you were talking about a monster. I was like, oh, there's a stop sign.
Yeah.
Wait, where did
Oh,
you
here's
two
an
go?
exit. We found a fire exit. We're going out this way.
Okay. Nice.
I can wait
Sorry,
at the fire
Elias.
exit.
Oh wait, I found you. Never mind.
This
Wait,
is the way I came.
wait.
Why's that?
What?
I won't go alone. Okay.
Oh, so we should crouch walk back.
No, we should be good.
I had a conflicted moment when we were in
Let
there,
me
and you're
slide
like,
on
"I'm
my
gonna go
butt."
back to the ship with what I have," and I had no clue where Elias was. I was like,
Also, chat. I realize I'm not interacting with you guys as much. I don't want to die in the game, so just do like a highlight message if you need me.
What?
Oh my god.
Don't run. Don't run.
Oh
Crouch.
my god.
Did they see you?
No, there's nothing there. I was joking.
Oh my God, Elias. Haha. So fucking funny.
Watch a
Captain,
monster
you're
come-
taking a
What?
huge risk right there.
Watch a
See,
monster
didn't
come
you
from
just
around
hear
the
that?
Wait.
Crouch walk, back to the ship, back to the ship, back to the ship.
Why is it always me?
Maybe don't. Does that look like a wormhole?
Wait, did all my stuff go as well?
It's
Yeah,
not
it
here.
ate you. It ate you, Elias.
Ah.
But we did get a stop sign, so we could keep that instead
That was
of
like
buying
a
the stuffle.
sentient tornado.
It's a worm.
It's
That's
a
what.
worm?
That's what Elias shits out every morning.
Knew it.
True.
Come on, Cap. Get in, get in, get in. Okay. Oops. Sorry.
Oh wait, we left things in the doorway.
Oh, do we risk it? How much is this? 122? Wait,
Do I have to sell my stops?
150. How much is your stop sign? Put it on the ground. 180. I mean, we should go back. Oh, the door. No. Okay, we should just take off. We'll just take off.
Okay.
We're gonna lose that stuff, but it's fine. Maybe the worm will be gone tomorrow, you know? Oh, do you see those big
Yes,
red
I
dots?
do. There were two of them. Oh my
It's
god.
good that we didn't.
Oh.
It's very good that we didn't do anything. The most paranoid employee.
Again.
Oh,
What
You have no
injuries?
notes. How come you got no notes? We have enough money to
back.
buy you another thing.
Yeah, we should. If we go back and donate all of that stuff to the company.
Okay. You direct us. Lead
Oh
the
wait,
way.
they're buying at 53%.
Okay, let's not do that then.
Yeah, that's kind of
I
shitty.
don't know, but we did leave all that shit by the front door, so maybe it's still there, but probably
No, it's not.
not. Wait, AJ says I can be in whoever's ass I please.
I could be
Live, laugh,
you,
love.
baby.
Just girly things. I can take away the pain.
Do we need to? How much money do we have?
Your mom.
At least a total. God damn it.
I
Right.
told Cap that they could be baby girl, and they were like, okay, bet.
Ooh, cha-ching. Let's go.
Cha-ching!
Where's that stop sign?
In the chest. You're not allowed to carry important things anymore because you got eaten by a worm.
Hey, my
Who said
stop
that?
sign.
Me. That's Captain. Oh!
What the fuck?
Oh, that was you.
You're gonna break a
I
neck
thought it
with
was a
that.
fucking monster, you ass. I'm sorry to everyone's ears I just blew out.
You silly goose.
That's literally not funny. Wait,
That's
why did
very
you put us on
funny.
another planet?
Cause why not?
Because we just figured out the last one.
No, we can figure this one out too.
I don't like
Hey,
this.
look at this giant pumpkin.
Pumpkin!
What are you guys doing?
Hold on, I'm gonna get up on top of it.
Where does this rocket land?
Let's go!
Oh,
Where is it?
I hear it. Follow the sound.
This way.
I don't want to get down.
Alright.
There's so many bees. I hate the bees.
Has everyone recharged
Actually,
their
guys.
that what is that?
Elias, there's
What is
one of those-
what is
Don't
that?
go
Oh,
towards it.
yeah.
No, no.
Oh, we can pick it up though.
Yeah, but we have to get it on the way back because they'll kill
Oh
us.
right, yeah.
Oh,
you're
there's
right. This is
several of
cool.
them.
Yeah, the nests are worth money.
Okay, let's
So
go.
they're dangerous. Which way is the place? Is
I
this
think
one
it's
with the
this way.
bridge?
Yeah.
I'm sticking
Oh,
close
geez
because I'm
Louise.
already lost and we just left.
Enjoy couch, Hugo. I just don't want to waste my stamina except if we need to run from something.
A bridge.
Here it is.
Okay, walk only, no running.
This bridge is so stable. Oh, it is a really stable one.
Oh, wait. Oh, we're good.
Oh, another cassette tape.
Screams.
Wait, what?
The fuck?
Wait,
Where's
where's?
the door?
Oh, it's over here.
Oh, there.
Oh,
Oh,
there's
that's
the other
bad
bridge.
bridge.
Who
What is
noted?
journal
Metal
entry
bridge,
streams?
bad.
Look, I found
do-
whoa.
how do we see the
wait,
journal
hey
entries?
guys. Hey guys.
What's up?
Hey guys.
What at?
No.
Hey.
No.
What is that? What just happened?
No, that was gonna kill you.
That
Wait,
was
did you
like
hit me
something
with
out of
it?
fucking.
I,
No, Nelly. I'm okay. Everything's fine. Stay down.
no. Why? I'll take your body back. Bring my body
I
back.
cannot
Harry.
withstand impact play, okay? Lessons learned. Akali
We're gonna
goes,
come back. I'm
yo,
gonna leave the
Elias,
weird
can,
brush
can
thing.
you do... Everyone in chat
Oh,
wants that to be done
Don't run
to
like
them.
that. That scared me.
Okay, we'll
Wait, you have
we'll
blood splatter on your chest, Elias.
nice.
You're covered in my blood.
God.
My stream crashed. Okay, so we found a paddle.
Yep. I left it with your
can't
body.
think of any other description besides a spanking paddle with spikes on it, and Elias literally one shot killed me with it.
Oh.
I'm hearing something.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
Wait, who's got... Oh!
Spider!
Where? Who's got the shovel?
I have the stop sign.
Oh, you got it. Okay, yeah.
It sounds
use
like
that.
spider.
Regular hit, left click, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you hit that bad boy when you see that
One of you
spider.
should have taken the paddle. If that one shot me,
Oh.
It was me.
it probably
I didn't want it to
one-shot the
follow
spider.
us.
Someone should have taken. Next time, go get that paddle.
Wait for
Bring it
me.
with you.
Ooh.
Oh, the light.
Oh!
Oh.
I don't like the
Asian.
noise that made.
Oh. I got a... Ah!
That was Cap.
Another engine.
Oh, got it.
Cap, you have to carry that. Yeah, if you guys both just bring it straight back.
Care about the door.
Just go straight back. That should be enough. We can't risk everyone dying and us losing it all. I'm afraid. Wait, get the paddle. You
My
can
hands
carry
are
the paddle.
full.
Yeah, Elias, pick it up and then just go get the... Yeah, you should be able to pick it up. You can't just move it in your inventory?
Bring your body back.
I got it.
Don't bring the expensive
Not that.
stuff.
Isn't that the bad bridge?
Yes.
Is it?
I'm gonna go on the other bridge.
No, that seems
Do
fine.
not...
No, it's fine.
I don't trust the bridge. It's fine.
See?
Why is he doing this?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I think if we go one at a time, we should be fine. There you go.
Okay. Ragdoll.
And then, we've got to
Hi,
find
Happy
that ship.
Senko. Welcome in.
Yes.
Mhm.
Use your scan. It helps you find it.
Oh, there it is.
I'm looking at my body just like jello jiggling. Stop. Don't desecrate me that way.
Oh! 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 Okay.
You went too close to the hive.
dead.
Oh my, behind you, Elias! Get in the ship!
What?
Get in the ship right now! Get in the ship! Get in the ship! No, get in.
No!
Get Captain, you get in!
I can't.
Oh! Get away!
There's bees near the one ladder and he's near the other ladder.
Ow! Captain, you make sure Scarlet's body gets onto the ship.
No, Elias, no.
No.
No. I've seen way
No.
too many movies of this. Don't you dare.
Elias, no!
Elias, no!
No!
Elias!
We're gonna lose everything! Stop! Go, Captain, go. You're clear-ish. He can... Oh,
Oh my god.
he can reach into the ship.
Oh god. Hi, Happy Senko. How you doing?
Elias is charging his flashlight while Captain is in mortal danger. If you're gonna distract him, now is the time, Elias.
Blind ya!
Yeah. Captain, go! Hurry! Captain, now's your chance. Go! Go!
No!
Stuck.
Oh, gross!
He ate me!
I'm in his ass.
Fuck! Ow! Ow! I couldn't make it onto the other ladder.
Terrible.
It was too high.
Why was there like 3
I'm
beehives
doing
outside
okay
our
other than
ship?
being dead.
And a
Thank you.
Giant fucking monster dude.
I'm so disappointed.
Ugh.
You should still play it, Hugo. I'm gonna make you play it. We have 1 day left,
Oh
much
God.
money?
and we
Wait,
we
did
lost
we?
all of our stuff. It goes away when we all
Oh.
die.
Oh, we have nothing.
I just want to say, Elias, that was the worst distraction I've ever seen. You didn't even.
Thank you
got
for the
killed
follow,
by
Happy
it
Senka.
right. You literally
Hey.
aggroed it right
Hey.
next to Captain. who you were trying
You're
to
pointing at the
protect.
wrong person here.
Hey, at least someone tried, okay? You're the one that died.
Can I use the store, Captain, when you're done?
Yeah.
Do we have enough
Here you
for
go.
3 flashlights? Oh, there's 1 at least.
Yeah, see, I saved 1.
Oh, fuck. We have no money.
Nice.
Alright,
Right,
well,
we gotta make big money this one.
big money, no whammies.
Big money, no whammies. Wait, where we landing?
Abandoned.
Where we dropping?
Where we dropping, boys? Teeming with plant life.
Let me see how much is on here. Okay, there's 14 objects, all and total is 1,028.
Loot Lake.
So we
Damn, take
find
me with you.
a good amount of stuff.
We
We
could.
should be
We
Gucci.
probably would have had 230 last time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which way did we
I
go?
gotta
Is
charge
this
this.
way?
I think so.
Wait for me, please. There we go. Yee. Thank you.
Okay, this time. Oh, bees.
Hell yeah, let's
This
go.
time, maybe. Wait, where's the bridge?
I think it might be the other way.
A downed tree.
Oh yeah,
oh.
there's a. The building is that way.
Oh.
There it is. I see it.
Oh yeah, the bridge.
Wait, what?
You'll find it eventually, babe.
No.
Yeah, this game is only what, $10 right now, so it's not like you're.
Oh wow, I can
Uh.
literally see the bridge moving while you're on it.
I do not like. Wait,
Oh god, it creaks.
there's a completely blocked door.
Oh, there it is.
Here, wait.
Wait, total 20. Oh, here we go. All right.
No,
Oh no.
What?
I fell off the bridge.
Oh.
Did you die?
No, 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 no. Oh, there's a fire exit down here though, so I'm
Oh,
good
hell
with
yeah.
that.
I'm walking back with this engine so that hopefully we don't lose it.
Oh no.
What?
It's so dark. Nope. I'm
Captain's
going
the
to
only one with a flashlight.
Yeah, I
Guilty.
can't go through that way.
Okay. I'm running back to the ship to deposit this important valuable
Oh.
item. Ah! I got stung by bees.
Oh.
I'm okay.
Should I not flip these switches?
I don't know what the switches do. Oh, it might.
The
You might need
breaker.
like the fuse or whatever. Yeah.
No.
Value 22. God damn it. Fuck us.
Teapot!
How do I heal slowly over time, you guys?
I don't know.
I'm a little teapot, your
Oh.
head's out.
All right.
Hello. Here is
Hello.
my handle. Here is my. When I get beamed up.
All right. I'm watching on cams. You guys are pretty clear. Okay. Wait.
a
No.
mine to the
Stop.
right.
Freeze. Yeah. That's. If you go through.
I'm hearing a monster.
There's
Yeah,
a
if
mine
you
back
go
near me.
Elias. Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. That's what I was trying to.
Ah!
My words weren't working. I'm sorry. It's to your right in a parallel hallway.
Oh,
Now,
it's a
now
spider.
you're looking at it. Run, Elias! There's more than one.
You can't
There's
get
a
us
bunch
now.
down there.
Haha, get fucked. Haha, get fucked. Ow! Ow!
Oh.
Captain, are you the only one alive? Or
No.
did Captain die?
Alive. Oh my god.
When does spiders? How could?
He beat me through the wall.
I'm getting that.
Yeah, get the
Why is
flashlight
this
and my teapot.
default
Get my
sound
teapot.
bokeh? You're so fucked. It's on top of you, isn't it?
I died.
Get behind you. What the fuck?
All right, well, do you think y'all's flashlights are over there?
Yeah, they're on my. They're on our dead bodies.
Yeah. At least it's a
Alright.
little bit closer to the exit than it was.
At this point, I might as well try, right?
Might as well. There's
Where
not
does
much
that
else
come
we can
in?
lose. We're not gonna
think this
probably
way.
meet the quota.
I think it's this way. Which way? This way? I don't exactly know which way to go. I kind of forgot.
Opposite. Because it's the down tree we saw.
Oh, right,
When we
right.
turned
Okay,
around.
okay. Gonna take screenshots of the Sims I made. Thank you. Oh, now I see it. Oh, it's also the afternoon, so I don't even have that much time.
Mm.
I don't know, big money. We could get lucky here. Why not? That bridge does not sound good, y'all.
No.
No, that's perfectly
Okay,
stable.
was the spider right inside the door?
No. It's in the area to the right. Or it was.
I don't even have a flashlight.
No, not
No,
that way.
left.
It's
Left. Yeah.
That one.
It was right in there.
Well,
Downstairs.
oh, here's the teapot.
Where's your body? Oh, I see the flashlight.
I
Thank
see your body, Cap.
No, I don't. What did it do with your body?
Oh, it took it, and I'm in a cocoon right now.
You're in a cocoon.
Oh,
Oh, I see him. Okay, so there's literally nowhere for me to go without fighting the fucking spider. I see it right there.
Yeah. Can the monsters step on mines or just us?
They can, but like, or no, they can't. Oh, that's how you guys triggered it. It's like there's webs all right here.
Oh, I
Oh.
see.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
gonna try.
There's more webs that way.
Fuck me.
It's alright,
Oh,
Happy
there's not
Senka.
even anything in here.
What happened
oh, what
was
the fuck is that noise?
a spider beat the shit out of me through a door and
I
then
don't think
proceeded
there's any
to
way I can
teleport
even
directly behind
get money.
Elias and eat Elias. Now Elias
What
is in a
is that?
cocoon and Scar is the only one alive, so
Elias.
good shit.
Yes.
You know something that I don't? Is that why you're laughing?
No.
Okay. Good, because if you lead me astray. Oh fuck. Literally it's my only chance is
Aw,
facing
fuck.
the
I
spider.
can't believe you've done this.
I can't believe you've done this. My only chance is going down there.
Is there anything to the left? Like, could you try
To the right is the spooter. As long as he stays there. Okay. I mean, there's no other point, right? I might as well just try.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, we get fired.
Yeah. I mean, we're probably
I
gonna
don't
get
want to get fired.
Okay. I'm just crouching. We've got smooth jazz on. This is nothing. It's fine. Did you guys have anything else on you?
The kettle.
Oh god,
Oh,
there's one of
blobby.
those- Oh fuck!
Oh,
I made a bad
no.
decision.
That was close. That's
I think
where
the
the spider is, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a door.
Your flashlight's about to run out.
Oh, I'm so dicked. I mean, it doesn't matter. Oh, there it is.
There she goes.
There she goes again. Oh, bottles.
Oh, nice.
How much are those? 48.
I currently
Hell
have
yeah.
the mod on this game that
Hell
makes
yeah,
it that when you
brother.
drop items, it'll make the metal pipe sound.
Alright, well, at least I can drink myself.
That's so
this
funny. I love
Terrible
that.
time.
Yeah, just absolutely get wasted and then sacrifice yourself to the spider. You won't even feel a thing. Probably.
Oh.
Mm.
I did not make the jump.
Oh no.
Damn.
I blame Elias for all of this.
The laziest, you bitch. I had a tea kettle.
I'm an employee. Like, what's everyone else?
Oh.
Intern.
Yeah, I think I'm an
Yeah.
intern.
I'm the head up, so you all listen to me. Captain. Don't do your sexy dance.
Wow, wow.
Don't do your sexy
Wow,
dance. 'Cause-
I can feel
No.
it shine,
No.
babe.
No.
Trying to hold it for so
There you
long.
go.
Oh no.
Oh!
Mood lights. Well,
Are we ready to get fired?
yeah.
Yeah!
Woo.
Woo!
Can we just do it ourselves? No.
Can we
Okay.
just kill ourselves?
0
I
to
should
so
have taken that Indeed job instead.
Fuck, I should have listened to the Glassdoor reviews. God damn it.
Thank you, Happy Senko. Welcome
How
in.
come you're employee?
Because
Yeah,
I'm
what
the
the
best.
fuck?
VIP?
Get out of my face. Well, I'm VIP. Nice.
Oh, you're employee and you're intern. What does mine say?
Part-timer.
Yay!
What the fuck?
I get fucked.
Damn it.
That's right, I'm your boss.
Wait, is this a paid internship?
No.
No! I could die and I'm not even getting paid.
That's how they get you. They create these false hierarchies. Wait, 0 days. Wait, does that mean we have
Oh.
the day?
Nope. We failed.
Oh.
So, like, you might as well go back up to the ship, fly away. Because what we do is, it's not going to matter.
Oh.
Sad.
Sad. Extreme sads.
I cry every time. What the fuck is that?
Oh wait, you guys.
bye.
No!
Grab my hand!
I'm coming!
Oh no!
Oh,
Oh, it put me back in.
You did that.
Oh no, I'm dead. That's
You-
why.
You did that.
I can't believe you just
Missing. You
left
did
me
it.
behind on an
I
unknown
did not
ship.
do that.
You did that.
I did not do that.
You did that.
I did not do
You
that.
did that.
I did not do that.
You did do that.
I did not do that.
Oh man. I took off the top part of the cosplay and I'm still sweating my balls off. I don't like.
As you have not met the
Oh.
proper code, your performance has been deemed below standard.
The fuck you say?
Welcome to our disciplinary process.
Ooh, you gonna spank me?
And I
Oh.
won't jump.
Wait, you got stuck on the door. You are fired. Okay, I think this is a good time for me to go get a spicy juice, so I'll BRB you guys.
Perfect, I gotta get a snack. Alright.
Alright, chat, be right back.
Alright, I'll be literally right
No,
back.
fine.
I just have to grab a snack from
I'll be
across the
right
room
back.
and pee. I'll be
Welcome
back.
to your first day on the job. This is your very own autopilot ship, where you will eat and sleep for the duration of your contract. Make yourself at home. To complete the onboarding process, you will want to check the instruction manual and sign into your ship's computer terminal. We trust you will be a great asset to the company. Great asset to the company. Asset. Great asset to the company. Asset. Great asset.
Alright, I'm back. What do we think? I think it looks better like this, honestly. I like my little chest strappy boys. And wait, with the helmet, it's kind of a look. It's kind of a fit. Hang on. Come on. You're telling me you wouldn't smash? Yeah, exactly. It's a strap. It's not for my air supply. Who needs air supply? Hold the titties. Wait. Gotta do the dance. Okay. I can't see, and I'm breathing my own exhale. Doesn't feel that good. Don't point at me. I see you in the game pointing at me. Elias, what are you doing? What if I just leave this on? I can't hear you at all, but at least I look cool. Hell yeah. Alright. Well, nothing like spending $70 in 2 hours on a cosplay to wear it for like the first 20 minutes of stream. Pretty lit. Personally. 100% worth it in my opinion. Oh man. Alright, we're gonna put some pump up music on. Because I feel like I need them to get serious. Alright, I can hear you now.
Hello. What do you mean
Hey.
get serious? I'm the only serious one here.
Hey chat. Wait, serious question. Have you guys been able to hear Captain and Elias this entire time, or not at all? Like, have you been able to... Okay, they said yes. Alright, cool. It was the music that I had muted. No one's been able to hear the music the whole time. That's great. Alright, whatever. No, turn the lights back on. I'm embarrassed. Oh. I was just vibing. Alright, well, I'm sorry. Coconut Mall. What the fuck why are you twerking on our controls? Why are you doing this?
Leave me alone. I'm fixing the
no.
computers.
I have to open a beer, but I have no way of opening a beer. I'm using a USB drive.
I'm back.
Welcome back, Captain.
I mixed a drink quick.
Ooh. Oh yeah, because you're 21 now. I was about to be like, excuse me, that's illegal.
It's just some absolute blue curacao and Mountain Dew.
You said the first like 3 letters of absolute, and I thought you were about to say absinthe, and then I was gonna be like, that is not a starter beverage.
Oh my
That
god.
is an experienced drinker beverage. One day of laboring under capitalism. Captain's already slamming shots in the background.
How dare you dad joke me,
Oh
Senko?
man. Do. I'm listening to Coconut Mall. It's gotta be jam.
Well, damn it, you two. Let's get serious and then.
It's okay, you
both
get a
of
pass this
dancing on
time,
the fucking
Senko.
consoles.
What?
Get down from there now,
Or what?
No.
or I'm gonna call our head up. and they'll
Do
gonna
it, you
fire
won't. They already
two.
fired me.
I'm gonna do it. That's it. I'm out of here.
Look at the crazy color of my drink.
Do.
Fucking wild.
Wait, I need to look.
There.
All right, both of you go out. Take your torches.
I just pulled up my own Twitter on stream on accident. We're busy, Elias.
I want
get-
to
help
bite
you.
that
Get out of the
drink.
ship. We're wasting light.
Did you buy us our flashlights?
Yes. Out. Get out.
This is like when
Yeah,
your
why don't
parents
we-
want you to go outside just to stop bothering them.
Yeah,
They're like,
they're
go outside,
"Why
get
don't
some
you
fresh
go play
air,
with
just
your
get the fuck
friends?"
away from me.
I'm literally. I thought that your stream was mine, Captain, because we have the same view. Elias, it didn't spit out anything useful.
It's still
Yeah,
singing.
torches. You have to press E on it.
The vehicle returned with your.
Oh.
You didn't press E. Oh my god.
Oh well. You win some, you
Oh
lose
my
some.
fucking god, dude.
We were dancing. I didn't know you had to click on it. You've done it.
What
every
is the
other
drink?
time.
It's just
Oh my
vodka,
God.
Mountain Dew, and blue curacao. I also just like guessed
There's
the
something in the
measurements.
corner of that room.
a baddie.
No, in the corner of that room that you just entered in, the where the
Be my
exit
little
is.
baddie. Wait, in the corner of the exit?
Are you sure
Yeah.
it's not marking
I don't
the
see
exit?
anything.
Oh, I see it. A dustpan.
Oh,
Hell yeah. Let's
that's
go.
not. Is that a dustpan? It looks like a fucking chisel.
I can't hit you with it,
What
so
the
it's not
fuck?
a weapon.
Oh, it is dark.
Oh, I can't see anything.
I have no idea what any of the names are. I just
I'm just
know
pinging.
some of their existences, like the blob, the bug thing,
There's no monsters in there,
the
so you're
spider,
good.
and then the.
Okay, well we can't see
Screwhead.
anything.
Yeah, keep
It's a
going. No, don't go that way.
Okay. Oh.
It just goes round. I mean, keep going forward, Scar. Yeah, go that way. Keep going forward. Keep going forward. Keep going forward.
It's dark.
Keep going forward. Then left. Keep going that way, and then to your right there should be a door.
Nope.
No.
This is a dead end.
It's a fucking blank wall.
What the hell? There's like a red thing on the wall there.
Nope.
Maybe it's like a secret. Okay, then go back. Just turn to that way. Keep going straight. And then turn to your right. And then keep going straight. Yeah, keep going straight that way. And then to your left. Here. To your right. And then it should come up to another opening then.
No stuff.
The
Fire
Bracken is
exit.
this creature with two white eyes and
Nice,
is
okay.
completely black with like
Oh,
black
here's the
things coming
mining
out the
thing.
back of him. His nickname is also Flowerman. I'm definitely calling him Flowerman. I want him to
Oh,
seduce me, and
a
I've never
key.
even met him.
Nice. You can open
What's
up
our
locked
quota?
doors.
That-
130.
Ah. Wait, there's shelves over here.
Okay, there's 2 items in this room in the back.
Oh, there's stairs.
What's this? Oh, I found the breaker.
An engine. I got an air horn and an engine.
Nice.
Okay, uh-oh.
I apologize.
Oh no.
Oh, did you die?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I couldn't see, so I
Okay.
just walked off a platform.
Thank you for the mommy, Hugo.
Whoops.
Oh, a
that tastes
dress.
really good.
That's so nice, Hugo.
Okay, go that door, yeah. And this is where the exit is, right?
Is
Yeah,
that candy?
Yeah.
I'm coming back. I'm on my way.
And the ghost girl is a ghost girl, but pretty much every time she'll kill you unless you're
Oh.
lucky enough to get to the ship in time and get off the planet. Oh god.
It's like
Oh,
Animal
wait.
Crossing music
Okay,
now.
okay, I
This
have
is
seen
just
something for
funny
her.
As a backdrop to
I
this
saw
game.
someone play and they were like, oh my god, did you see that girl? And no one else saw it, so good to know that that's what that was. Okay.
There was a V-type
Got it.
engine where Captain died.
Yeah, there were like a bunch
where
of
are you?
shelves I was looking around.
I'm in the ship.
Oh,
I'm watching the
see,
monitor.
If I drop stuff, do you want to bring
He's
it from
clicky
the
clacking
ship?
on the keyboard.
Yee.
Here, I'm dropping this down the stairs.
He scares the shit out of me, as she should. That's terrifying. Especially knowing you're the only one that can see her. Holy shit.
Okay. You should be able to carry all of that.
She can leave the building, follow you to
I'm
the
gonna
ship.
go back
That's
in the way I came. How did you
horrible.
die,
I hate that.
Captain? It's
I
the
couldn't see.
autism
I
song.
couldn't see, so I literally just walked off the platform.
Oh, okay. Okay, so like I could.
So maybe like hug the wall.
There was another V-type engine in there, and I think those are 22. Oh, 46.
Nice.
Me just climbing the stairs. All right.
Oh.
Where was it? Up here. Oh. Nope, not that way. I'm hearing things.
And with Flower Man, you have to look at it for 2 seconds
Wherever
and
I
then run,
came
and then
from,
every so
there
often
was
keep
stuff.
looking at it.
was
Oh,
this way.
okay. But don't look at it for too long.
There's
Don't look away for too
123.
long. And don't
So
stare
we
for
just
too
need
long.
like
Got it.
10 more.
Yep, I found a V-type
So, like a
engine.
look,
I'm bringing
run,
that back.
look,
and
run.
then we're
Nice.
good.
That's the strat. I got
I
you.
saw it earlier, but I just couldn't carry it at the same time.
Oh, I think
as
I
the
know
other
who you're
stuff.
talking about, actually.
Hell yeah. Okay, we didn't do too bad this time.
Is he the one that is
accidental
like
death.
famous because he just he comes in
Not
out of nowhere and
awful.
just like sweeps people away? Or am I thinking of a different one?
5:21 p.m.
That's my bedtime.
I think it's Funk Drift playlist time. Captain, what are you listening to?
Nothing at the moment. I should know.
Boo! I'll sing it to you. There is a young cowboy who lives on the range. Horse and his cattle are his only.
That is him? He can teleport to different places? Oh god.
Beep boop beep boop beep boop. I'm on my way back.
Oh,
I hear
what
I
the
hear weird
fuck?
noises. Oh, he's blowing
Oh,
a
that's
fucking air horn. He's fucking. Yeah, let's just call every bad thing to us. Get in the ship. God damn it. Every day I wake up and I hope you die.
It smashes wall.
I wish I was the wall in that scene.
I'm gonna put
Yeah,
my
it's, uh,
dad
Taking Adam
quiz.
Driver's fist like that.
Oh my god.
Alright, where's Funk Drift?
Let me know if you
There
can't
we
hear
go.
that,
Much
or if
better
you don't
music
want to hear it,
vibes.
or if you want to hear it more.
We're selling this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Excuse you.
Sounds good? Perfect. Thank you.
So
Daddy
that's why-
Tentacle Man. Daddy.
Oh.
No, don't press it that many times. It's gonna hate us.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
77.
Only 77.
It's not too bad.
Honest work, he said. Take us away. Take me away. The sweet escape. A higher place.
So we need
Ooh.
2 torches, right? You still got your torch, Scar, right?
I never had a torch.
Alright, because you
Remember?
didn't fucking
'Cause
open them.
I forgot to open the thing.
I know what.
Oh. I don't know what we're singing anymore.
Right.
Did you end up seeing my drink?
No, wait, let me look.
Here, I'll hold it up.
I was when I tabbed it up, it was still us dancing. Oh, that does look like absinthe. I stand by what I said.
You can take a bite of the drink.
I'm drinking an IPA.
It tastes like candy.
That's the sign of a drink that's gonna cause you problems.
Oh! Okay.
Oh.
Hazard level B?
Did you order flashlights, Elias?
Yes.
No problem. Just
And a
don't take
shovel.
too big of a bite.
Okay.
2 flashlights.
Oh god.
Yeah,
the
it's very
faith.
foggy.
We're fucked.
I'm gonna stick to your ass like AIDS.
No, you're not.
Alright. Wait, guys, don't we have to wait for the thing?
Yeah, we do.
Wait, where's everyone?
Right behind you.
Oh. Okay, note to self, press E.
Don't you frickin'... Give me that shovel. Give me that. Give me it. Give me.
Alright, you're on
If
shovel
you
duty.
muck around, I'm hitting you.
What?
We ain't slacking this time.
Wait, here's the thing. Okay, we run along the wall until we find the ladder. Here it is, here it is. I was just playing solo
This
duo,
map makes
duo
you cry,
earlier, and
as
let me
it
tell
should.
you,
This is
Lopop are the
terrifying.
best. Yeah. Although Zen, I do want to go on, one of the, Face Punch main servers once. And just try it out. Thank you for the lurk also. Happy birthday. Oh, and Jin.
Nice.
Fuck. I always release the
Ooh.
E too soon.
Screw!
I hear really weird noises down here. Oh god.
Oh my gosh, we
Damn,
can
we
make
found a
something.
lot.
What'd you find?
We found a lot of
Screw,
stuff.
screw.
Nice.
94 in total.
Uh,
I'm in the tunnels.
You should come back, cause wait, what tunnels?
You know, like the white hallways. I'm in the back rooms.
Okay, you need to lead the way,
How did I
Captain,
make
because I can't see.
okay.
Uh-oh.
Follow me.
I think there's a
I
bracket.
hear something.
Dead end.
Maybe
I'm
below
lost.
us, whatever, I'm here.
Oh, this is where Scarlet went.
I'm coming back. Oh, empty room.
Ah,
Another engine. I'm lost. I'm lost.
see, this is why.
I'm still lost.
Yeah, this is why you don't split up from the group.
I love the I'm
But
still
I
lost
found
as
an
if
engine.
more than 2 seconds has passed.
I thought I'd just keep you guys updated. Okay, not this way. Oh, wait.
Oh.
I got more stuff.
That's something.
If someone could go on cams when you guys get back to the ship and tell me where to go.
Hmm.
Oh!
Oh,
Hello.
Hello!
Oh, I hear
One.
mine.
Yeah, it's in Steam.
Oh.
In one room that I found. There's the exit.
upstairs. Don't go through the fire exit.
I'm coming. We did it, boys!
Can
Can someone pick up the engine? Yeah.
Go did. Oh, I can't drive my car.
Baby, let me drive my car. Beep-doop-boop. Okay, okay, okay.
Oh, wait,
For
don't
the
leave me.
engines?
I gotta drop my engine and turn off my light because I'm blinded. Oh, okay. Thank you.
You
I
have to
gotta-
drop the ladder down the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, follow the leader. Don't run, Elias. We're carrying heavy stuff. We can't run that fast. You gotta.
Make
gotta
sure you
just
can still
walk
see your
us.
buddy.
Let me drive my van into your heart. Okay.
This is like the
Oh.
kindergarten chain.
You went in a circle, I think.
Oh, you see.
Ship is this way.
Am I following the wrong person?
Roaming locust. You can gargle my
Oh,
voice
here we
if you
are.
want. I don't have that much though. Alright, let's go. Are you autistic
What?
by chance?
No, why are you asking?
No.
Who have you been talking to?
Why? Did you talk to my parents?
Have you by chance talked to a man named Peter lately?
Queen clipped that one.
Wait, are we not?
The laziest employee. I drove a whole ass car, excuse me.
Oh, oh. Oh. Oh, oh. There's this song, I think you sent me the funk drifting playlist. There's a song called Rave by DXRK. And it's like, bah, bah, bah. And it, anyway, playing. In case you were wondering. Oh, God. Is that all the stuff? Oh no, I have this.
Bitch, take my wheel.
Take my fucking steering wheel. You'll take this steering wheel and you'll like it. I think that's everything.
Got it.
Woo! Yum.
Do you think he was
I
impressed
think-
by my moves?
I hope so. He better
Me
have
too.
been. Otherwise, I'm slicing off all those
137.
tentacles. Yes.
Woo! I'm gonna close these.
No, not again. Let me in.
He better be impressed by your moves, right?
Baby, you
I worked
could drive
hard.
my car.
What?
I love the door was just open and you're just staring out at it like you just
Staring
left
at
your
it.
family behind or
Yeah,
something.
I'm gonna
Like one of
fucking
those
do
My
it.
dramatic
husband returned
One
from
of those-
the war. Bro, we didn't even bring back that much more than 130 and they still upped it so high. Okay, guys, we gotta get serious about
I'm gonna
this.
make frickin' lose it.
Right, so who's got a torch?
I do.
I have one.
Right, we just need one torch then.
Did you lose your shovel?
No, I got my shovel still. We have 148, so we could get.
Oh,
Hmm,
oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh.
hmm.
Did you need another for the squad? I think we're doing pretty
I'm
good
so
tonight. Thank you, though.
fucking Toasty, holy shit.
Since you're in the Discord, I can contact you
We could get an
when
extension
we
ladder.
do another game, though, some other time.
Let's save up for like a teleporter or a gun.
Alright, that's a good idea.
I need to buy a gun.
I would like to buy a gun. Those were funny TikToks, especially if you're gay, because it was straight people being like, when you open up his Instagram and he's been sending pictures of his penis to 1,200 different women.
Literally, I
need to
don't
find
think
that.
straights are okay.
No, they're not. Elias, you'd never look at any. Oh, did you just?
Whoa! Whoa!
Did you die?
No.
He's
Are
right
you
there.
lying?
Yeah. What were you gonna say now?
You wouldn't look at anyone else's Instagram, right?
No. I don't even have Instagram, so.
Oh, right. He's like, I don't even look at yours.
Oh yeah, YouTube, I'd just bugger off. Yeah, I'll be out here. Yeah,
You can get fucked.
yeah. Go on.
A straight man. Oh, yeah, you're getting stuff. Going this way, cat. I've got a good. Oh, I got a key.
Ooh, I'll come with you.
Got a good feeling about this corner. Nope, nothing. Nothing.
I feel like that good feeling was Bubkus.
That was a fucked up feeling, actually. I think maybe I just have a little stomach
I
bug.
got a feeling. Ooh, a key. This beat is my recital. I think it's very vital to rock around this right on time.
Are you just listening to
Here we go.
TikTok sounds?
I'm listening to my playlist called Dad. It's literally just like
what?
late 90s, early 2000s hip hop and rap.
Wait. There's a bolt. How did we just circle back around? Oh, here's a locked door, I bet. Could use our key.
Yeah,
No,
there's a locked door over where I'm
Not
at.
locked. Neither
There's a
of
lock-
them locked.
There's a locked door where I'm at.
Where you at?
We're looking for you.
Oh, I see you over here.
Be-doo. The Foo Fighters are doing the absolute most work on the front lines. I've never once felt threatened by a Foo. No, Dave
By
Grohl
a
could
Foo.
never. That's maybe the one man that I would be like the most surprised. Oh. You always press it at the same time. Anything else in here?
There's a big
Oh.
bolt up here.
Oh,
Big bolt. Wait,
Brad's.
got it?
Mm-hmm.
Yummy.
Alright, let's go home. This is a good haul.
No, we can get more stuff.
Can someone at least walk me to where the door is? Because I don't actually
Yeah.
know. What was that? Was that my
Ooh.
music or was that a...
No,
it was
there's
like,
definitely something in the game. It's like a
Oh,
door
because we took
latch.
all the power went out because we took that. Okay.
Oh. So maybe that's a save till the end sort of situation next time.
Yeah.
When I jump, I get like weird lighty boys on my... Not balls. Boys. I think through here.
When I jump, I get balls.
No, it's too bad.
There's a steering wheel in here though.
I got it.
And there's
come back through
also
here.
a big bolt.
I
I
got
Big
it.
can't-
bolt.
I can't take anything else. I'm full. But
I
come
am
back.
now
Got
full.
it.
There's something here.
A creature?
So ominous.
Yeah. Come on. There you go.
Let's get out of here.
Right. I'm gonna drop everything.
I can make
Um,
the runs. If you guys want to just drop down the ladder, we have time.
Yeah, we got lots of time. Actually, I need to recharge my torch. So
Shit, same.
Alright, I'll go on cams then. We got this.
oh, you can just drop down. Yeah. I've just got the right idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have to.
No,
God
we don't
damn
take
it.
we don't take damage.
Not from that fall.
Others, yes. Although
This
surprisingly,
one
when the bridge-
particularly? No.
when the bridge collapses and you're on it, you do not die. It doesn't feel good, but you don't die. Fun fact. That's all I
Should
had.
I keep the key on me since we're going back in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll stay on cams.
Oh, you're not coming with us?
No, you guys got this.
Oh, wait, I need
One
to
of us
charge.
has to live.
Both of us almost left without recharging.
Wait, I'm putting it on oops because his name is easier to type faster in the thing.
What the
No,
fuck?
you just type in switch and it would just do it.
Oh, I'm getting home and getting ready for Minecraft. Hell yeah, AJ. How was work? Oh, oh. Guys, I look pretty hot, not gonna lie. I just gotta gas
Sure.
myself up. Elias and I were. Wait, Captain, this is a question for you. Did you ever hear your mom say anything positive about her body? Like in your whole life, have you ever heard your mom say anything positive about her body?
Literally never. She's the reason I have body issues.
We were literally talking about this last night, and I was like, I don't think that I've heard my mom once be like, damn, I look kind of snatched.
No.
Not once. So I'm just, you guys can use me as a stand-in. I'm gonna be body positive, okay? I look hot as hell. Oh, run! Sorry, I was not paying attention to this.
Oh, I got a shovel!
Captain, run! I mean, Elias, run! You're fucked. Just keep run. Just run. Run. Keep
Where's my
going. It's
shovel?
chasing you.
Oh.
What is it?
It's a spider. Or no, it's not a
Hit it
spider.
with the shovel.
Oh,
It's
God
like a
damn
weird
it.
half-body
Gotcha.
meat man.
Did you guys die?
Yeah. I need
That
to pay
bitch
attention
is-
to my feet more.
Dude, it's like camping your DB. It's like running around the hallways like... Okay, well...
It's
do I-
literally
hit-
just like a huge head and arms and torso. Like, no legs. It's just
I-
crawling around.
Oh, it's one of those boys?
I hit it
Yeah, I don't-
with a shovel a few
You
times.
can't kill that one with a shovel.
Oh,
Remember the
shit.
YouTube video we watched?
damn. Well,
Okay, so I'm just taking off now, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go get y'all's bodies. Fuck that.
No, we're not gonna risk it.
I think that's one of the ones that you can only run from. Okay,
Oh,
how much
shit.
do we have in the chest? Heh. 48
Most
total, that's it?
profitable? You know it, BB.
I didn't get any notes.
Wait, did I level up?
Fuck. I'm sorry, Alex. I called you AJ. You guys both have the same purple. I need to repurple one of you.
Look at my chest. What is my level?
Intern.
Fuck!
How'd you do that?
What?
That was incredible, like, body movement there.
Wait, what's that quota?
221.
I don't see it.
Top left.
It's
We
not
definitely aren't
appearing
even
from
close.
me.
I think we have 44. Captain. Elias is putting them in the spots you're trying to use. E, it's E. There you go.
Dinner! Oh,
Sydney Periwinkle, I won't be mad. I don't know how to do that.
It's like when
How
you're
can I
new to
make
the
you a
zoo and you
color?
are feeding the lion for the first time.
How much did we get? Wait, you feed lions at the
97.
zoo? Not bad. Okay, we can get 120. I mean, we've got 2 days, right?
I do not
Oh, yeah,
personally feed lions at the zoo.
I was like, damn, what kind of fucking zoo is by you? wait, are we in the same state?
Literally in the same state.
Don't feed the freaks. If I was a creature in a zoo, what would you guys feed me? Important question.
Chicken nuggets.
rocks.
There's. Why are you
No.
fucking kidding me? There's 2 right answers. And I think... Wait, titty milk? What? You could just breastfeed me? Can you imagine walking into a zoo enclosure and there's a zookeeper with like a tit out breastfeeding a fucking animal? When is it my turn?
Why is it never me?
Why do you keep switching the map up when we're doing good on one of them?
Because there was an eclipse on the one we were just doing.
Okay,
So
that's
way back
fair.
in the mine, got a big X swinging from side to side, side to side.
See, I'm just too old for this stuff. I missed it. They're just saying nice things about me. I'm glad, Hugo. That was very nice of you to buy the dress for Parrot. Arroo! Did you order something, Elias?
No, I'm just pointing at the sky.
Oh. Which way is the stuff? That way. Do. We got this time, you guys. This is our time. We've only made it... Oh, wait. Oh, that's the birds. I got scared. We're good, we're good, we're good, we're good. Aggressively nay-naying to the music. Hell yeah.
You're going the wrong way, I think.
We figured it out. Can't run.
I'm listening to Miss Jackson now.
Sorry, Miss Jackson.
Ooh, I am for real.
Never meant to make the doctor cry.
I apologize a trillion times. Oh, there's a turret.
Turrety, turret, turret, turret.
Oh! Mine.
Yeah, I hear that. Alright, there's nothing in this room that I just went in, so we don't
Oh,
have to
that was like
explore
directly
that.
around the corner. Oh, another one. Holy shit. What at? Oh, a key.
Ooh,
That
2
clock.
bottles.
Oh, turret! Oh, fuck! I'm okay. Okay, don't go that way. Was that the turret you were talking about, Cap?
Probably. I got the bottles.
I found it!
I just look
Oh!
ahead and I see you
Hang
booking it
on.
down the corridor. Where'd you go?
I went back to the center again.
I'm like that child that is like clinging to you to the point where when you try to drop them off at the daycare, they scream. They're like clinging to your leg. You try to take them off and they literally like rip into your skin. It's a whole ordeal.
Kicking, screaming, shitting.
You have to bring him to a therapist at the age of 2.
Oh! That was my bad. I didn't see the turret. God damn it.
What the fuck?
Sorry guys, I'm back. I was standing in a corner.
We died.
Are you shitting me?
There was
No.
another turret.
Alright, well.
There's 2 bottles though at the entrance, so you can take those back to the ship.
Mhm.
Oh
There
my
you go.
God.
Yeah, there you go. There's the 2 bottles.
Oh, this is the second
Alright,
time I haven't
well.
gotten to use my key.
Wait, you should drop one off and then say, you know, and then take, yeah.
Thanks for the help there.
You're welcome. That's why I'm not a part-timer, you know.
Yeah, I'm an intern. I'm expendable.
I think I'm still an intern also because I've also died.
Oh, you're a part
Although
timer.
oh, nice. I do feel like I'm carrying a little bit, I'll be honest, guys.
Just a little bit.
It's an unusual feeling for me. I'm gonna crouch walk. We've got plenty of time. I don't want to trigger the bitey boys. This game is so amazing. Yeah, what was your stream, Fish? What were you guys up to? Also, Lethal Company? And welcome in for the new folks. Okay. Oh.
Oh. They look so creepy. What was that one doing?
Oh!
He was spinning in a circle.
There's
Other
the
way.
fucking door, god damn it. Alright, I'm going back. We don't see any bitey boys, right? You guys are spectating me. I'm gonna need your backup on this. What the fuck was that? I heard a noise.
You're good.
Alright, last bottles. I went from Overwatch to Val to Apex. Are you okay? All while drinking wine? That's some depressed gameplay if I've ever heard it. Are you playing Lethal Company tomorrow night, Fish, with Sim?
La bottiglia.
I've got him. I'm getting him home, guys.
I'm coming home. I'm coming
home.
Tell the world I'm coming home.
I keep hearing fucking rocks falling and it's scaring the shit out of me. Alright. No worms. Big money, no worms.
Oh, wormy.
Fuck me. There we go. We made it back.
Good job.
Woo! Alright. Guys should be back. Sky just posted the thread with the screenshots of you as a sim. I love you, Queen. Thank you. I left the doors open. That was all we got, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sustained the most injuries. I did get shot by a turret for a second
The
there.
laziest employee. You're right.
Wait, our quota is 5. Oh, no. Okay. I thought it was 500.
Okay, let's go sell this stuff real quick.
Alright, you're on the sticks.
Take me, Diddy.
Nelly is again laying on the hardwood floor like a freak. I don't understand why she's so mad at me.
Scar, look at my game.
Hang on. No, type it again. Type it again.
Okay.
What are you guys doing?
Nothing.
What was talking about?
We're not doing anything. I don't know what you mean.
I think you're a little bit paranoid.
That's it, right? It's tonight, but we're going out tomorrow. And sounds good. He'll be confused, but that's a him issue. I hear this motherfucker breathing back there.
He's sleeping. You gotta wake him up.
He's still sleeping. The door isn't open. Oh.
You really said the fuck you want.
The fuck do you want?
What the fuck? Hello?
75?
Hello?
Don't talk to him. He
you.
scares me. All right, we don't need that much more. We're good. We got this. And by we, I mean Captain and Elias have a tendency to die. I've been doing pretty damn good, I'll say. Personally.
Maybe I should just stop following Elias.
Probably.
Yeah.
Stick with me, Cat. We'll be fine.
Oh wait, check the moons. Okay, we gotta go to Val.
Wow.
Is that the bookshelf one?
No, that's the bridge one.
I thought that was our food.
Dance, Elias. It's your turn. Why not, you little bitch?
I'm getting out of here. Oh my god, get me out of here. Get me out.
It's like instead of bullying you, they just corner you in the bathroom so they can dance at you.
My kind of. Stop jumping under the ship, Elias.
Oh!
Did you die?
No.
Where is the thing?
I think it lands over here, right? The ship.
I see birdies. What'd you order? Flashlight?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a Korok! I admittedly have old person eyes, so I couldn't tell. I know what a Korok is. Yahaha! Captain, be your best Korok. Do. This one looks like a nuclear power plant. That's what I think this one was. Stop jumping up and down on the bridge.
He's
the second I get on it.
shipworthy.
He is not shipworthy. He sounds like he's gonna fall apart at any
She's
second.
shipworthy.
Just like me, for real, for real.
No, don't do
Alright.
that. Oh, there's some
Empty
go with the
room.
lights again. Whee!
No! I found a bell.
Ding
Nice.
ding ding.
Look at my bell.
Oh whoa!
What the fuck is that noise?
It's the switcher. It's the
Oh.
switches on the breaker. Ding ding ding. Top of the morning.
Ooh.
It's like a church steeple bell, but like downsized,
Yeah.
but still freakishly big.
It looks like a village bell in Minecraft.
It does.
Nothing?
Oh.
Oh, Bob.
Oh,
my
lordy.
Every creature within 100-mile radius is coming in here. I hate him sometimes. Is she nuclear on my what? Wait, what?
She nuke on my
Uh.
Lear till I fission.
You fucking dork. Oh, made a little ding sound.
Ding.
Ding dong ding. I found a key.
Oh.
Ooh.
Monster?
Oh! Yeah, it's one of those. We don't have a shovel though.
What is it? One of the bugs?
Yeah.
You can kind of like get them to back off, or like they'll avoid you if you like.
Hey!
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 Hey! Hey! See?
Oh, if you just
But I-
charge at him a little bit?
Yeah, but like once there's like more than one of them, yeah. See, he's got boys. Elias, don't go that way.
Oh,
You're
he's
gonna
got
aggro
boys.
them.
Hey!
Oh shit, he
Yeah,
got
go
boys.
in there.
Get out of there, Elias.
No, it's good. He's gone.
All right, I'm bringing our shit to the ship. I don't trust y'all.
No, you ran away. On the reactor. I'm taking it.
Taking it. All right, do it.
Yeah.
Warning, increased levels of radiation. A whole meal was missing. I'm so sorry, Hugo. Andy, thank you for the giant horse cock. And sorry, guys. Like I said, this one's a little harder to keep chatting because I'm not very good.
I just hear.
Ah!
Oh God. If you guys both die again, I'm gonna cry.
That's alright. We're good.
That's
Oh,
alright.
spider.
Do you have the
Hello,
shovel?
where- No.
Oh, it's the guys. He's got friends, and there's a blob behind us.
Yeah. They will also steal your scrap. They'll pick up scrap and put it back.
Okay. Okay, but back up. Back up. Go on.
You
Where's
cannot
that?
fight them
Back up!
all.
Back up!
I'm just waiting to follow you because the blob is chasing you.
Up!
Quote unquote chasing.
Hey! Back up!
Aw,
Hey!
that guy looked almost. Oh, hey! Hey! Hey!
Okay,
Hi.
we have 160. We have
Never mind.
160.
The
We're
blob
good.
is after me now.
Get home, guys. Get home.
Bro, make up your mind.
No.
They're coming at you guys from both sides.
Oh.
Yeah, there's the bugs and then the blobs.
There you go. Let's go.
If you guys leave, we have enough money.
Okay.
I'm just wild today. Twitter is wild. First, Cult of the Lamb said they were gonna add a sex update. Then
What?
another random game said they were gonna add a sex update. Then Young of like the Minecraft data packs and mods was like, all right, fuck it. If I get to 25k by the end of the year, I'll make Young's better sex mod. So it is what it is. That's against the Mojang rules, though, I think.
What was that?
Captain, me, you,
Is that?
sex mod stream? When?
Tell me when and I'll be there.
You guys are safe right now.
It's like,
Still safe. I don't see any nemesis. Get on the ship.
yeah, my sissies. Oh, there's one of the ball things.
Oh! Oh, that's you guys walking. Oh my god, that scared me.
Hello.
Hello! What's Elias got?
The light thing.
Oh, cool. That's all profit, baby! Alright. Close door. This is probably also the last round for me, so.
Yeah.
Yeah! Hell yeah, brother!
Yeah, brother.
Take us to Jeff Bezos.
Take us to
Tentacle
the
Jeff
promised
Bezos.
land.
How was I the laziest employee? I fucked up most shit back.
The laziest, the most
Fuck
paranoid,
off.
and the most injuries. I'm a part-timer!
I got part-timer too. Woo 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 woo. Set us down, babe.
Wait, are we gonna have enough?
Yeah, we should. Bump, bump, bump. Tentacle Daddy. Give us the juice. I want the fucking juice. Well, damn. Don't bother him. Did he open the window? Oh, stop. He sounds angry.
I don't think he's happy.
It's corn. A big lump of knobs. It has the juice. 246. We did it.
Dang.
Holy shit.
How much did we make? 418 out of 221. Hell yeah, brother.
That's almost
But now
double
you know
what
what?
we needed.
Our quota is gonna be 500 something now. They're gonna fuck us on this. I swear. Not employees of the day. We've been fired once. And we've had full squad deaths like a couple of times. TPK, if you will.
Important messages.
$24 overtime bonus. New profit quota 3. Okay,
That's not
bad.
too bad.
342. That's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
I mean, 360 though. Very
Oh
nice.
fuck. Do we have a teleporter yet?
Teleports cost 425.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. One more. All right.
Oh.
One more run.
Normal teleporter costs 375. Inverse teleporter 425.
Wait. The teleporter. Is it chat? Is it the teleporter that brings you back to the ship or the inverse teleporter? I think we want the teleporter. Do we have enough for that?
No.
Oh. Well, never mind.
We can buy a green suit. Or a shower.
What does the shower do?
I don't know. Do you want to buy it?
No, I don't. No, don't waste the money. Don't waste the money.
No?
Let's all get shovels, though. That's a good thing.
We could take a
Oh, we
good
playing one more?
shower.
Yeah, one more. Why not? Teleporter, the regular teleporter brings us back, so that's the next purchase. Because then if someone's in trouble, we can teleport them, and then they don't die.
Okay. So what, you want me to get shovels for all of us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Beth.
Alright, and then moons.
Thank you,
where are we
Diddy.
gonna land?
Experimental. The
We
state-
can. Experimentation is
Love.
eclipsed. Assurance is flooded. Vow is eclipsed. So
Nice.
offense. That's gonna cost $0. Okay, that's fine.
He hates us, Captain.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of your
Genuinely hates
shit.
us. Do not jump under the ship again. Aggressive life forms. Nice. Where's the ordery thing?
I'm not sure. I don't think we've been on this map before, have we?
No, this is,
Oh, wait,
is this
maybe
the
we
one
did,
that
yeah.
the spiky teeth boys killed me and you threw the air horn?
I think so, yeah.
If they die, at least you can bring their body back. That's nice. An extra $5 is worth it. I think my bra is falling down. Nope. Whack. Where's main? Oh, it's up here.
Where is
How
it?
did we get up there last time?
Probably. We should go an
I think
extension
there was
ladder
a.
thing.
Yeah, I think there was a ladder over here. I'm out of running speed. Wait, guys. Come back.
We could jump that probably,
What?
maybe.
Oh, okay. I'm
Did
just.
you die?
No,
I
he's just sliding
died.
down the mountain.
God damn it.
I made it.
I made it.
I
That
don't know
took
why
all
there's
that
none
I
up
had
here.
in me. It's that way,
Oh.
to the left. Down, out. Look at this old truck. I do not like having to do all this hardcore parkour to get out of this stuff.
Parkour.
Hardcore parkour. Oh god. Bolt, 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 bolt. I got the bolt. Elias, there's a
No,
there's a turret right inside the door.
I think you can stun it. Oh,
If we go this way, we're fine. Oh no, we're not. There's a creepy crawly.
where?
I don't know. I heard something. Alright, I'm going the other way.
I don't see any creepy crawly.
I just heard the crawlies. I found a laser.
Mmm.
This is mine.
I have a laser pointer. Are any of these mobs like cats where you can like fucking laser pointer them?
There was a large axle here, Captain.
Robot toy.
Where did you go?
Oh my god, it's so cute!
There you go. You come over here, like.
Bad news, the robot toy makes continuous noise. Maybe not such a great...
Oh!
Did I or did I not tell you there was creepy crawlies?
Oh god!
That ain't no
oh,
creepy
God.
crawly.
Please, leave me alone, Lou. Okay, I'm dead. Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Go away! Go on, shoot! God damn it.
Did you die?
Yeah.
I'm making my way back, but I might get killed by those doggos
Making my
because
way
I'm
down to
carrying something that does not shut the fuck up.
I am all alone.
I don't like this.
With no one here beside me.
Oh, okay.
Where'd that man kill you?
Wait, man, was it the crawly boy?
No, it was the big monster thing that you can't kill.
Wait, you guys, Ben said in chat, if you can dodge a turret, you can dodge a ball.
Ooh. Chat, you think I can make this jump? Not gonna try.
Make the jump.
This is a big jump.
Make the jump.
Oh. That's, well, I found your body.
Elias's body?
Yeah.
You can take the torch with it. Right? Oh!
Oh, did Captain just die? You guys are killing me.
Captain took my body in. Just
Total
leapt.
107.
I've taken the phrase "you'll never take me
174.
alive" a little too seriously.
Okay. I'm starting the ship anyway, because I've got 174 amongst the things that I picked up.
Perfect.
I took a sip and I wasn't ready.
I was not expecting it to come from that direction for whatever fucking reason.
I see both of your DBs like stacked on top of each other on the camera. The most paranoid employee.
The laziest employee.
Maybe Elias should be on cams.
Maybe. Monsters just love me. Hang on, we want to go back to the company.
Yeah, I tried to do that and it said must be in orbit. Did you do it?
Mm-hmm.
How come they let you do it and not me? What the fuck?
Because the computer loves me.
It's because you are a fucking computer. You
True.
goddamn bot.
What's
Continual
this?
storm. arms, would it? Oh, it's a laser. It's the laser thing, I think.
Oh, can I distract cats with it? Can I blind you with it?
Sorry, I was answering QOTD for Queen. If you could travel any place in the world without worrying about money, where would you go? Is the question for both of you.
Japan for me. I've never been to
Japan.
like Asia.
What about you, Cap?
Probably Italy or Japan.
Why Italy?
I'm Italian,
Oh,
and
good
I've
answer.
family still there.
Wait, Bend, it says Bend, Oregon? Why Bend, Oregon? Oregon?
Bend over.
Or Belgium. I'm seeing Athens, Greece.
Ooh, Belgium's
or
a good
Japan
one.
Also. Damn, only 92?
No, yeah, I'm gonna change that
What are
from
they
Japan to
selling
Belgium.
at? Was it 50%?
Yeah, it was like
buying at?
53%.
Oh, fuck.
Damn.
It was 172 in total value. Shit, we shouldn't have come back.
Back.
Oh, because there's a Blockbuster still in Bend, Oregon? Places you would have to pay me to go? No, Vegas. Again. Ever again.
Paris.
You wouldn't want to go to Paris? You'd have to
No.
get paid to go to Paris?
Yeah.
I do love Paris.
I don't
have
like
yet to
any
do it.
big cities that are like the same vibes as Paris, and also Paris is supposedly a dump.
I actually love Paris. I've been a couple of times. Had a good time every time, but I do think that like it is city of love type shit. Like I would much rather go with like a romantic partner to Paris than go by myself again, because I've been by myself 3 times. It's a little sad.
I've just seen too many TikToks of like the streets and the garbages being overflown.
I mean, I do live in New York, so that doesn't bother me.
The only
so
thing they're
much.
missing is the rats.
Cleans glasses fish, is that you? Me, Ben, Paris tomorrow. Are you guys propositioning me for an Eiffel Tower? Is that what's happening? Or was that a serious platonic question? Why are we in fog?
Because I don't want to go.
Again.
This is like the normal experimentation
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
though.
yeah. Not any of the scary ones.
Experiment 626.
I dislike the French. I wouldn't go. I hated Paris personally. Like, it was cool for the tourist history stuff, but it wasn't my vibe. French is the only other language
Paris
that
sucks.
I liked it. Wait, there's trees. I'm turned around.
It's
That's not a tree, that's a light post.
the natives and people in general in Paris just ruin the experience. Because
Parisians suck, but I do like Paris. I've hit a rock wall. Oh, there's this guy. Alright, who knows where we're going? It's gotta be this way, right? No. Elias, I don't think it's that way. Oh, it is. Wow, he was right. I'll never say this again. I meant just me and him in Paris personally, LMAO. Yeah, I figured. Captain Ben's offering to Lady and the Tramp some pasta. Oh, nice.
Hey, I'm down if you're down. Hey!
Where's the music coming from? Oh, fuck yeah.
I bought a boombox.
You did not buy that.
I bought one.
We want to buy a teleporter. Oh, my
Gotta give us a
flashlight's
reason to
dead.
dance.
Alright, I'm running cams for you guys
Ooh.
because my flashlight's dead.
Oh
anyway.
shit!
What?
Got some
Good
fucking
music?
sick ass beats on here.
Oh, there's a mine right there.
Damn, right in the doorway.
There you go. Yeah, that can stay there.
Brazil reals are worth a lot less than USD. Yeah, like if you want to do it, the way to go is to a country that's impoverished where your US dollars are worth a lot of money. That's the way to vacation on a budget. Alright, I'm watching cams. You guys are cleared? The direction that you're going? You guys are cleared?
Scared me. Holy shit.
You're still cleared? Wait, is there an
Where'd you go?
item to your right, Elias? On the floor? Turn around, scan the room. There's just a green dot in that corner. I don't know what it is.
It's
Yes,
probably
probably
the
the
boombox.
boom box.
Oh, okay.
Box.
There's a lot of stuff in this room.
GG's.
The fuck? I don't see anything. Oh shit! That gives such a good fucking entrance for you. Anything
I'm
else?
not seeing any dots. You guys look safe.
Nothing else.
Oh! Oh, you pulled the plug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do still need like a lot, so you might as well just like keep going out there. I can come pick stuff up from the front door too. Chicago is toilet paper? Why is Chicago toilet paper?
Quick, assign every major city a
92.
an item.
A toiletry?
Oh yeah, toiletry. That's even better.
New York would be mouthwash, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas would be condoms or like those wipes for your vag. Summer
Yeah.
Eve shit.
Okay,
I grew
I'm
up in
gonna
Indiana.
leave that here. I'm gonna try and jump over this mine.
Wait, there's a monster on
Oh
you!
shit! We don't have
Elias,
anything to
go
hit it
with the
off either.
shovel.
We don't have
Oh
one.
no. There's two!
Oh!
Oh god.
Run into walls or something.
Oh, it's like
Elias.
oh.
Well,
Okay.
Cap, just come back.
Yeah. I don't know the
Oh.
way back.
You winked out.
Go on, go help
Go
out
on outside.
Captain. Let's go. Oh!
What was that?
Wait,
What was that?
I don't see any red dots. Are you outside?
Yeah.
Come to me.
I-
I don't see red dots.
I
Scan
can't.
and you'll see the ship. If you scan,
Oh wait.
it should show
Okay.
up.
Okay. I dropped him.
Yeah, you can drop down.
Yeah, go straight forward. I can see better with your spectator mode.
Yeah, he's spectating you. So
Skull,
can
you
see
should
the
go
fog.
and pick up the stuff because there's a lot of stuff.
Run back.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be pulled back.
Yeah.
Is it by the door?
You have to go inside. Captain, if you turn around again, and then go to, yeah, that way,
Oh, there it is.
and there should be the ladder. There you go.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't see the ladder.
Turn around. Oh no, keep going forward, keep going forward. To your left. There you go.
Is it in that front room?
Yeah, everything's in the front room.
Oh, Queen.
No, just go straight to
glad I
get
was
back
there.
to the thing.
If you want to.
If you scan... Oh, there is a bunch
We had,
of shit in
what, 2 more things? The boombox and something else?
Pick up the boombox as well. I think you can pick up the boombox, right, babe? Damn.
But stuff that you buy from the shop isn't worth money, so it doesn't really help us.
But don't leave the boombox! Yeah, go
Yeah.
straight.
See if you can get Elias's DB too.
Well, there were 2 of the bug things. I think I just heard you pass me.
And then
Yeah,
go to the
I'm
right a
running
bit,
down.
Captain. Yeah, just keep going straight along that wall and you'll eventually the other way. There you go, that way. I know there's a tree across the ladder, there you go.
I think my camera's frozen.
No, keep going forward. Oh,
but
right,
I don't know
yeah,
if my
your
stream
camera.
is fucked. Sorry, chat. Camera's frozen.
And on the game.
Oh.
I got a boombox.
Nice.
There we go. Oh. Yeah.
Is it a fire track? Alright.
I'll take back what I said. This is good intro music. Especially in the fog.
There we go. She's back. Yeah. Oh, fuck, that slaps.
Right?
Yo! Alright. Is it worth dropping this off and seeing how much we get?
Yeah. Damn, 210 out of 286.
I'm an employee now.
Hell yeah.
Woo!
Let me go to the company. There we go. You have to wait for it to pass through the bullshit.
Oh, damn.
You know what this kind of sounds like?
Maniac, maniac.
CEO Chuck Norris,
Oh.
born in 1964.
It does appear, actually.
Jeffrey Bezos.
We're actually seeing Jeffrey Bezos right now.
Tentacle Bezos. Is that everything?
I think so, yeah.
Yep. Stop, that's enough! I kind of wanted to visit LA, but that, like, see, but I feel like you can do other cities cheaper than you can do Vegas. You know what I mean? You could stay in a shit Airbnb in LA and do LA stuff. You're not gonna shop on Rodeo Drive, but like, I did LA like a summer in college on college money, and
Fuck
it was
LA,
not
I've been
bad.
traumatized.
LA, I will say, if you're
Actually,
really trying to, like,
sorry, Santa Monica. I was traumatized.
if you're trying to give yourself a worse eating disorder, LA is a good place to go. If you're trying to make it worse. If you want to feel like a 2, LA or the surrounding areas are a good spot. Oh. How much did we get? 252. Okay, we only need 100 and 200.
200?
Yeah, we need 200. I would like to use these musics in all videos forever.
Who's got flashlights
Literally.
right now?
I've got one.
Okay.
Bow.
Oh shit.
Bugbear type beat. Cockroach party type.
I gotta charge the boombox.
Not again.
Yeah.
Ecosystem
Alright,
supports
who's
territorial
You're
behavior.
on cams.
Wait, no.
You're on cams. I'm expressly forbidding you from doing anything besides cams.
I can do this.
Let the big boys work.
I can do this.
Yes,
Trust me.
Captain's got my big boy beat on. That's what it is.
Also, I got a special surprise for us.
Did you spend more of our fucking money on useless shit, you motherfuckers?
I got another boombox.
No!
Yeah!
No, I didn't.
I hope that it doesn't overwrite the boombox. Fuck!
Oh god.
You did get another boombox.
I
You
did it. I
Yes,
did
you did.
it.
I saw.
Look.
What is that?
No, it's the ladder.
Look, done yet. Yeah.
Oh.
Try it out. See what it does.
Oh, well. Yeah, away from the rest of us.
Did you do? Oh.
Oh, no, no, no.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Yeah, maybe I should stay in the ship.
Yeah, you're on cam. Which way do we go? This way?
Yep, yep, yep.
We don't even need the ladder for this. I'm putting it back. This one has a ladder. Captain, you're on your own for a second.
Yeah,
I'm
but like
putting
it,
the ladder
it,
back.
it falls, right? So you can like aim it so like it goes onto the pipe. So
Okay.
make a quick.
A quick escape. I'll try it. Thank you for the alert, cool. And thank you for clipping that, AJ.
Oh, there's a blob immediately.
Maybe we can kill it with the ladder. Fuck! Shit! Well, at least we can get around the guy.
Thank you, Ray.
Stop calling me a loser, chat. What is that?
Oh, it's the ladder.
Oh, it's the ladder.
It dropped me on top of the glob.
I heard the beepy noise. I was like, what the fuck is that? Oh, here's a room. Oh, we got one of the big bolts, and we got the lighty boy. It's /AFF. Oh, you mean time-wise? Yeah, I know we're late. Oh, right, we were gonna... I forgot.
That fully looked like you just walked right through it. I was like, what the fuck?
You can actually... You can, like, kind of sidestep them. Not all the way, though. I'm putting this stuff outside. Alright, I'll bring my ladder. Where are you, Cap? Oh, what
Back
the
with the
fuck?
blob.
The skittering critters.
Yeah, he's with the blob. Back off. Back off. Back off.
Oh, affectionist. Ah,
Back off.
It's affectionate. I see. Alright, I'm going the other direction.
Did I just scare both the blob and the thing?
Hell yeah.
No, I literally booked it toward the blob because the cockroach thing was...
I found a cookie mold. I hear these motherfuckers making skitter noises. Where are you?
I'm back in the main room.
Oh, fuck! No, God!
What?
It's one of the boys.
Oh yeah, I locked him in there. I didn't realize that was the side you were in. Whoopsie.
It's okay, I got a cake mold at least.
Have we gone left yet?
No, I don't think so, because the blob is there. Oh, it's still there. Oh, dead end. Go back. These chittering motherfuckers need to
Did
chill the
it
fuck out.
open that door?
I did when I
Oh.
ran out. Oh! 1 second! Okay, Captain, I'm gonna go out the door. You're on your own for a moment.
No.
Okay, Cap, I'm back.
Welcome back.
I shouldn't have left my fucking flashlight on. The blob is like seeping through the fucking door. Fuck you,
Yeah.
bro. I think our creepy crawly guy is gone. I don't hear the chitters as much. There was a staircase over here that I just didn't go in because it was freaking me out. Oh, it's a dead end. That's great. Was there a door down here? No. I don't think so. Okay, so it's blob door? Or is it middle door? Oh, I hear them in here. You little cunt. They're in the hallway somewhere. We went in this one already. We gotta find something. It was good getting hit with the sniffles. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Literal dead end. Okay.
It's gotta be the way that the blob was.
Oh!
Just
Hey!
book it out.
Oh!
Never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind.
I'm booking it out. Oh god, the blob almost got me. We go home. It is what it is. It is what it is. Also, it's 6:18 anyway. We have to go.
Yeah.
It's not Mothman. Do not sexualize the things that are trying to kill us. Stop it.
That's like Mothman's demented cousin.
You're good. Yes. Please go rest, hydrate. Let's go to sleep. I know it's late our time. Get some sleep. Thank you again so much for the raid and welcome in new folks. Captain. Captain. Crouch. If you're not.
Oh
Oh,
my
no.
god. I was just sitting there. There was another
Yeah,
thing
there's-
too. I don't know if it was another one of those dogs or what.
Oh god, it's looking at me. Yeah, there's two of them. There's one by me. Oh god.
I think that's the one that might have eaten me.
Coming back. Okay, is that your body?
Oh, what is that? There's something jumping in the back.
No, that's my dead body on the
Oh.
ladder. Can you use my dog body as a distraction? Throw it at them, maybe? I don't know.
No.
No?
I'm crouch walking
You
back.
see that thing? What is that thing?
With the teeths?
Yeah,
Is this one blind?
that guy. What's that guy?
Oh.
Oh,
Well,
that was like a
pretty good.
pterodactyl and a kangaroo had a baby.
What the fuck was that? I've never even seen that one. It wasn't even. Was it in the YouTube video of monsters?
Wait, I've been demoted to part-timer?
Dang. I'm
Yeah,
back
you
to
lose
intern.
points. We're gonna get killed. We're fired.
Oh my fucking god, we fucking dead.
Like, okay, I'm not getting the impression from other people playing this game that it's hard, but somehow we can't make it past like the third run. Ah! There's only one thing left to do.